All right, guys. So Nikke, the developers decided to respond to the backlash when it comes to seeing players receiving better quality of life updates compared to the global version, especially when it comes to the loading time and the molds. So they pretty much responded like 9 hours ago. I was just reacting to the ZZZ 2.0 live stream, but we're gonna go ahead. We're not gonna read the whole thing. We're just gonna read the part where they address the whole CN version issue. Now, I want to remind you guys, all right, when it comes to the molds, the chance of you getting okay, when it comes to the SSR molds, it's 100% SSR in the CN version. We have this image over here. So this is like in the global version. It says collect a certain amount of this item to recruit SR or SSR Nikkes. Meanwhile, for the CN version, it's 100%. Okay. Now, I've seen some, of course, you have these Nikke shields who are going to sit here and say, well, you're probably not going to get that, SSR character because you're probably going to get this crystal over here, this mold that's going to give you 12, and it's a 39% chance. It's like, buddy, it is 100% SSR. Can we stop this mitigating nonsense where every single time we see an actual problem and clear, I wouldn't say favoritism, because CN server does have its own issues. We're going to talk about that later. But the fact that they are literally giving CN version these better quality of life updates, meanwhile for global version, like whatever, it's ridiculous. Like it's 100% SSR for CN when it comes to the molds. Meanwhile for global, you're probably going to get an SR character. And this is like a Reddit thread from like 2 years ago, this subreddit. But I saw this image over here, right? And it says, after the update on January 12th, the probability of mid-quality mold and high-quality mold has changed. The probability of SSR Nikkes has increased by 1% respectively. High-quality mold is SSR 61% chance and SR 39% chance. Mid-quality mold is SR 21% chance and SR 79% chance. So once again, man, it's not 100% SSR for global. That's the whole fucking point. Like, I don't understand why people are saying, oh my gosh, you guys are acting as if you're getting a guaranteed SSR with the molds. Buddy, the point is that for the CN version, for the SSR molds, it's 100% SSR. Meanwhile, for global, it is not 100% SSR. There's a chance that you're going to get an SR character versus an SSR. And a lot of people complained about this shit years ago, right? To the point where they literally had to buff the rates. Right? That's the reason why I showed you guys this image. You have this person literally complaining about it, right? But once again, man, whenever you criticize these companies, whenever you actually like complain about valid issues, we got to mitigate it. It's not guaranteed SSR, so it's fine. Right? If it's not that serious, then how come they couldn't implement it in global as well? If it's not that serious, make it make sense. But anyways, come over here, all right? So this is what they had to say about the Chinese version. All right, let's go ahead and read it. With the official launch of the Chinese version, I've been thinking a lot about how to wait. Actually, no, that's not it. That's not it. I apologize. That is not it. I think it's up here. Wait, is it this? Wait, no. Let me find it. There it is. Okay. Regarding the launch of the Chinese version. Lastly, we like to share an important update with care. On May 22nd, Goddess of Victory Nikke officially launched in China. Due to significant differences compared to the global version at launch, the Chinese version will run on a separate build with its own policies. The 2.5 years of gaps in separate builds meant that on the one hand, there might possibly be story spoilers, but on the other hand, it also allows us to incorporate some unique and complementary elements. We understand that some people may question why certain new costumes and convenience features are only launching in China, and we completely understand those feelings. But we believe that the two versions, China and global, will grow in their own directions under different conditions and circumstances that one day their differences will enrich each other. This has to be one of the worst apologies I have ever seen in my entire fucking life. I did read everything else, all right? I read their entire developer's note, and they're pretty much just talking about, changes when it comes to like the loading time. Like they did address the loading time issue. If we come back over here, they said for the assist download delay stage 5.7. The first improvement was rolled out in May and already reduced load times by 3 to 6 seconds. A second round of improvements is targeted for November. So they're not even done fixing the load time issue in Nikke for the global version. Remember, for the CN version, they already fixed it, guys. The load time issue is already fixed in the CN version. They're still having problems in the global version. And it's been 2 years. Meanwhile, for the CN version, instantly fixed. Instantly fixed. So they talked about that. They also talked about, you know, other things like events or whatever, content, combat, whatever. But once again, the most important part here is the CN version and how they're receiving quality of life updates that global players have wanted for a long time. And of course, global isn't getting that. Maybe there are some things in here that CN is not going to get. We have no idea. But if that's the case, I don't like the fact that what they're saying is we're trying to make both versions different as much as possible, because they're literally saying that we completely understand those feelings, but we believe that the two versions, China and global, will grow in their own direction under different conditions. They're literally saying that we believe that CN should have their own improvements and global should have their own improvements. If there is something that global wants, there's a chance that we're going to give that to CN instead. And it's already happening. We have the whole mold situation over here, right? We have this where the version is 100% SSR. The chance of you getting an SSR character is more than likely than the global version because you have SR characters in here. But of course, they did not address that. They did not talk about the molds. They didn't talk about it. All they said was, yeah, things change. Things are going to be different. It is what it is. Now, I've seen some people say, right, we come over here. I've seen this post going around, this picture. And this person is saying, people are really jumping to conclusions while only seeing what's on the outside, not knowing what's on the inside. So we're going to read this. Now, I'm not going to believe this at face value because once again, if the developers, the fact that the devs, they came out with the dev note addressing the CN version, and you guys won't believe this. There were a lot of Nikke cucks that were literally denying that CN version received these changes. Meanwhile, global didn't. People were literally denying it when the facts were there. You can get on the game right now and you can see the differences. If you have CN version and global, you can see the differences. The fact that people were denying that, saying that, oh, you're just spreading misinfo, nothing changed. It's like, oh my gosh, bro. It's crazy, man. But let's go ahead and read this. With all the recent drama surrounding the quality of life, Nikke, CN got people seemingly haven't looked into the actual server itself because holy crap, it's garbage. All this hyperfixating on quality of life when CN has removed large portions of the character base entirely. Matisse doesn't exist in the game. Missiles has a total of 5 units. No Wikipedia, so you can't even see who's in the game outside of wishlist. Drastically censor plot points of the story regarding anti-government messaging. Completely changing certain characters to fit CCP messaging, removing large chunks of story due to themes, and removing characters with darker skin colors. All this drama, whining and proclaiming that the game is ruined over some scene favoritism, over some quality of life we will probably get due to all the crying while the scene version of the game is complete and utter garbage, is insane. If you genuinely think scene is better after this or favorite, I don't know what to tell you. What in the actual fuck? So this guy is pretty much, it's funny how he's saying that players are hyper fixating on quality of life. Meanwhile, he is hyper fixating on the issues that CN has and pretty much trying to disprove, right, players who are complaining about the molds, right, that CN has, and it's way better because it's 100% SSR, and loading time, which is way better for CN. Meanwhile, for global is complete dog shit. It's crazy how this person is trying to literally disprove that. They're trying to disregard all the complaints global players have about this, and they're trying to make CN issues more, I don't know, superior than the issues that global players have with the game. It's ridiculous. And it really just comes down to, oh, our issues are far greater than yours, so therefore we deserve this. Huh? But anyways, back to the main point here. So this person is bringing up the CCP. Like, you guys can clearly see when it comes to these Nikke shields, They're bringing up the CCP as if it's global players' fault. Why are you guys bringing up the CCP when that has nothing to do with the global version? If they're going through this whole CCP situation, the Chinese version, that sucks. That's really unfortunate. But I'm sorry, but what do you guys want us to do about that? What do you guys want the global version to global servers to do about that? Like, what do you guys want global players to do? What do you guys want us to do? What we're focused on, of course, is quality of life, because that is the main issue at hand. That's the reason why the devs made a dev note talking about quality of life, because that's our main concern. It's just ridiculous how whenever people point out these issues in the game, they're like, oh, stop crying, stop complaining. And then remember, guys, at first, these people were like, oh, you guys are doom posting, you guys are complaining, wait for the devs to respond. The devs responded. Their response was dog shit. They literally said that they want both versions to be different, and that both versions being different is quote unquote inevitable. And then now your response is, well, CN has these issues, so it's fine. Get the fuck out of here, man. It's absolutely ridiculous, bro. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's CN players who are trying to disregard what global players are complaining about. Because if you guys are saying that you're facing these issues in the CN version, why aren't you guys focused on those issues and complaining about it and giving the devs feedback about that? Why are you guys so busy? Why are you guys so focused on what global players are complaining about and trying to disregard everything you're saying? Meanwhile, you are facing issues in your own version as well. Make it make sense. Like, do you see any global players disregarding all the issues CN players are facing right now when it comes to like the whole CCP? And I'm assuming if that information is true, if it's true, why aren't you guys complaining about that and bringing it to the devs? Global has its own issues, and that's what they addressed on their Twitter. That's what they address in their tweet, the dev note. They're talking about global issues. So therefore, let us global players complain about these issues so that they can actually fix it. Don't sit here and try to make tweets saying stop crying, stop complaining. This is what we're going through. You should be talking about this instead. It's fucking childish. It gives off the vibe that, oh, my trauma is far greater than yours, so therefore completely abandon your trauma and focus on mine only. Now, I'm not saying, this is traumatic to a lot of people, but I'm just trying to make you guys understand where I'm coming from when it comes to, these quote unquote CN. I'm going to assume that these are CN players who are trying to disregard what global players are complaining about when it comes to the global version. Stop focusing on disregarding what global players are complaining about. And if you guys are going through whatever you're going through in the CN version, you guys should be focusing on that. Send the devs feedback, all right, so that they can actually fix these issues in the CN version. Meanwhile, for global players, let global players focus on the issue at hand within their own server, their own version. Let them complain, because when they complain, the devs respond. The devs promise to fix these issues. The devs promise to bring a solution. I don't understand why, we're wasting our time trying to disregard what other people are complaining about. Meanwhile, your version is literally going in a toilet. What are you doing? Oh, the CN version has the CCP. There's no dark skinned characters. So therefore, what you're complaining about doesn't make any sense. What you're complaining about doesn't matter. You're wasting your time. While you're sitting here going on Twitter, typing all that nonsense, guess what? The devs are not fixing the CN version at all. They're not. Everything you're complaining about for the CN version, they're not fixing it because they're too busy focused on global players complaining about their own issues in the global version. And it's ridiculous. And I like it how them saying removing characters with darker skin colors, I like how all of a sudden we're pretending that CN players now all of a sudden give a fuck about darker skin characters when we take a look at the history of gacha, you take a look at Genshin Impact and how Genshin, they treat dark skinned characters. They're either dog shit or they don't release a lot of dark skinned characters at all. You look at Daya, you look at Kaya. I mean, Kaya's decent, but you look at Daya and how dog shit she is. It's either they make the character dog shit or they turn the character into a 4-star character. It happens all the time. they literally treat dark skinned characters like complete garbage in Genshin Impact. But when it comes to Nikke, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world because they removed dark skinned characters. Like, stop the pretending. You guys know you don't give a fuck at all. So I don't know. Like, they don't care. And they're trying to include this as a huge issue. No, what they're trying to do is they're trying to mitigate this. They're trying to mitigate it and trying to disregard all the complaints global players have when it comes to quality of life updates that they don't receive, meanwhile CN players receive. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It really is. All right. But yeah. So that was their response when it comes to the CN situation. That was their response. Okay. Let's come back to it just a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. So yeah, that's their response. They said, since we're in different environments, differences in these updates are inevitable. However, we'll share feedback and direction as we go so that our paths can ultimately lead to a better future for each version. Starting with loading improvements, we're working on a number of global releases and improvements that we'll be announcing in future developer notes. I think this is terrible. It's terrible because if they're trying to if they're trying to make both versions different, this is gonna just this is just gonna be chaos. Because think about it, CN, they have better molds when it comes to rates, right? It's 100% SSR. Meanwhile, for global, it's not 100% SSR. You have the loading time that's fixed, okay? When you have stuff like that happening, where they're literally changing the rates for one version, meanwhile for the other version, it's still the same and it's never changing at all. Now, global players are going to be like, okay, since you guys are changing the rates for CN, do this for us now. We want to have this. And don't give that to CN. And then Nikke is like, okay, they give it to global. Then CN is like, oh guys, you did this for global? Okay, I want you guys to do this for us now. Give us 100% guaranteed SSR characters. Like when we take a look at the mold tier, change the 4% to just straight up 100% for everybody. And then Nikke is like, okay, they do it. And then Global's gonna be like, yo, do this for us. It's gonna be a constant back and forth. I don't see how you guys making both versions different. I don't see how that's going to make both versions complement each other. We're just gonna create more chaos within the community. It's just gonna make everything worse. Knowing how this version, they got a new skin, meanwhile this version doesn't have a new skin. This version, they got a better skin than this character in this version. Oh, this in this version, they have this character, we don't have that character. All this nonsense. It's like, are you kidding me, bro? And then for them to come out and say their differences will enrich one another has to be the most bullshit statement ever. No, it's not. It's just going to create more chaos. It's going to make people mad even more. It's going to make people want to get things that the other version doesn't have, and they don't want the other version to have it because they're going to be like, well, you guys gave them this, so therefore you should give us this. It's not going to make anything better. This is a there's a better way to handle this. There really is. And once again, if this is true, okay, I'm not gonna say that this is true or not. I have no idea. If the devs did not confirm this, then I'm not gonna say anything about this. But if this is true, and if the CN version, right, they don't have some characters, you know, they have to deal with the CCP, that is unfortunate and that sucks. But if you think that the best response to this situation is, let's go ahead and give the CN version this, something that the global version wanted for a long time, let's give it to CN version and let's not give it to global. If you think that is a valid response, you are a fucking clown. And you are part of the problem. You are. Because the Nikke devs literally admit, like they literally said over here, that their goal is to make both versions different. Both versions will be different no matter what. It is inevitable. And then your response to that is, well, I think it's valid because this is what happened in the CN version. So therefore, I think it's fine for them to hold back quality of life updates for the global version and give it to CN instead. I'm not fucking with this, bro. I'm not fucking with this. It's pretty clear that when it comes to communication is lacking a lot right now when it comes to accountability, especially for when it comes to the CN version, they're not really taking accountability when it comes to that, because they're literally saying that they will be different. CN is going to be different from global, and I understand you have policies and whatever. You have the CCP, yeah, 100%. Wuthering Waves also face that situation as well with the whole censorship, right? Where CN might have censorship, meanwhile global might not have it. Things are going to be different. 100%. Things might change, right? But when it comes to rates, when it comes to shit like this, where one version has 100% SSR, meanwhile the other version, it doesn't have 100% SSR. It's 60% SSR and 40% SR, or it's 70% SR and 30% SSR. Like, when you have shit like that, that's gonna piss people off, and it's completely understandable, because what you're doing is, when we take a look at these gacha games, the main content in these gacha games are characters. They're the main content. Characters are the main content in these games. You summoning for that character, you building that character, putting them in multiple team comps, and fighting enemies. That's the main content in these games. You summoning for characters and you building them and you using them. The fact that they're pretty much enhancing that experience for CN players, right? When it comes to the chance of you getting an SSR character through molds, the fact that they're enhancing that experience, they're giving CN players a higher chance of them getting an SSR character more than global players, it's just fucked up. It really is fucked up. And this excuse over here of, well, it's because of the CCP and all this nonsense, is not a valid excuse whatsoever. It is not a valid excuse. This should not be an excuse for them to treat one version differently from the other, because it's gonna breed more chaos. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. That's what I think about this whole situation. I think that what Nikke needs to do, what they need to do is, they just need to communicate, right? They need to communicate when it comes to the whole mold situation. Just make it the same as global, and that's it. If they just make it the same, we're good. Make it the same, and when it comes to the loading time, fucking fix it. Fix the loading time, because it's ridiculous how for the CN version, on launch for CN version, instantly fixed the loading time for CN version. There's no issue when it comes to loading in CN version. Meanwhile, for global, 2 years. Players are still having an issue with this loading time situation. It's ridiculous. So they better fix that, because they said they're gonna fix it by, like, I think June, but they said, like, I don't know, stage 2 is gonna be fixed by November and all this nonsense. It's like, holy crap, man. Like, why, when it comes to the global version, there's so many technical difficulties, but when it comes to the CN version, instantly fixed? I don't understand. But I hope you guys have a good one. I'll be catching you guys soon. Adios.